no typical girl. I ain't no typical. I ain't cheerleading while the boys play ball. I ain't no typical girl. No, I wanna be right there in the middle of it all.
And welcome back to another episode of the Music Cafe. Thank you so much for joining us, guys. I'm so excited for tonight's show. But before we dive into that, if you guys are new to the cafe, pick up your laptop, walk over to the kitchen, and make yourself a cup of coffee. Grab a piece of cake or a donut. If you have donuts, please send them my way as well. And if you are a regular, I hope you've got your cup of coffee, because this is the point of this. We're socializing, physically distancing, but we're still being social. It's important to still chat to people, make sure that we know how we're all doing, and call our loved ones and all the above. So that is what this cafe is about. And tonight's show, we've got a room full of just awesome people. Some people I've met, I've grown to love, and some new friends, which I'm so chuffed to have made. Before I've just got my first comment. Hi, Fame. How you doing? Hi, Christian. I know Christian runs fame.org.za. So if you guys have any questions or comments for our guests, pop them into the live comments. I will show them across. I've got your back, boo. We've got this. I'm so excited for the show. I'm going to bring them up one at a time. First, we have a bit of a power couple. And you might know him from a band or two, and you might know his wife from behind the scenes. First up, we have Graham and Kim Watkins. Hi, guys. Thank you for joining me. Yay. Next up, we've got someone who I met last year and has just sort of become one of those friends that we always tag each other, always double tapping those pictures on Instagram. I'm so glad that he's here with me tonight. Tonight I've got Alexandra Bratt. How you doing?
Hi, friend. Hi. Good to be here.
Last but not least, we've got Mark Buckner and Marissa van Wyk. Hi, guys, from the Bachelor SA. Oh my gosh.
Hello, everyone.
Oh my gosh, I'm so happy for tonight. This is going to be such an awesome music cafe room. You guys are all fantastic. I admire all of you for what you do, who you are. And before we jump into questions, because I've got a ton of questions for all y'all. Before we do that, I think we should start with ladies first. So, Kim, can I ask you to give everyone just a bit of like a hashtag Tinder bio of who you are?
Okay, sure. I am Kim Watkins, and I am an artist agent and manager. So I I manage musicians and celebrities and actors. And I have recently started working with a UK-based company called Music Gateway to extend songwriting opportunities in South Africa to a global network.
Amazing. I can't wait to jump into what it's like working behind the scenes and how the industry has changed over the last maybe 10 years. And of course, during COVID, I mean, life has changed dramatically for musos, artists. So I can't wait to dive into that. I'm going to go to Marissa van Wyk. Can I ask you to give everyone just like a Tinder bio version of who you are?
Yes, so hi everyone, my name is Marissa, I'm 25 years old and I am a speech therapist and audiologist by profession. And yeah, that's really most of it, but I am really passionate about people too. So yeah, that's why I'm in the profession, so yes.
Okay, awesome. I can't wait to talk about your journey on The Bachelor, because I mean, how old are you? Do you mind me asking?
25.
You're 25. So, yeah. I mean, I'm 24, and I think it's quite a daunting thing to sort of go into the public eye and to put yourself out there where the world is allowed to remark and to judge and to comment on your life. So I'm interested to chat to how you dealt with that, what it was like going into that space. So I'm excited for that. I'm going to jump to Alexandra Bratt. Can you please give everyone just like a little Tinder bio of who you are?
Okay, hi, my name is Alexandra Bratt, based in Cape Town. So by day, well, basically both of my jobs are by day, but
sort of like what they would consider a 9 to 5. I'm a media booker and a project manager for a telecommunications company. And on my side hustle, I am a PR and events coordinator.
Amazing. Like juggling 2 worlds, 3 worlds, 4 worlds is quite a thing. And I remember when we actually met, just so people know, we met on a panel last year, and it mainly had to do with sort of artists and sort of the entertainment industry. And the amount of, I mean, it was just great getting into what you know, because it's incredible how much you do know. You've been inside and out. And I really can't wait for you just to share all of that knowledge with all of us. I really can't. Okay, so
Hopefully it's
I'm
worth
going
sharing.
to ask... I'm going to ask Mark, do you mind giving everyone just like a hashtag Tinder bio version of who you are?
I should probably leave out the first bits then. I started modeling about 22 years ago, so that's kind of given away my age. I'm 37, by the way, and I did a TV show in India, which was quite big, which kind of grew my platform. It was the life story of a very famous porn star. Played her husband. She played herself. It was hanky panky. And then got into property. I've been doing short-term letting on a few of my properties for a while, and more recently into trading because, well, we can't work, so I've got to do something. So yeah, been trading cryptocurrencies of all things.
Oh wow! I mean, that's like over here to over here.
Because
It's
I
brilliant.
can't go out and do any of the modeling anymore, and so everything else, and then also the short-term rentals. Lockdown, no one could travel.
True.
So I thought, well, I've got to start something, and then I ended up selling a couple of properties, and then put that into crypto, and thought I'd give it a go. Yeah.
Give it a go. I mean, I think it's incredible, the stuff that you have done and the stuff that you're passionate about. I mean, just I want to name one thing: your dogs.
Yeah,
Are quite important part.
Cats right now. They've been over our shoulders and around.
Oh man, that's the best ever. I can't wait just to dive into your life, what you were doing before The Bachelor, what made you get into and start the journey when it comes to The Bachelor. I mean, that whole space, again, like Marisia, just like stepping into the limelight in that way and opening yourself up to people. I think it's an interesting sort of space to talk about. And speaking of stepping into the limelight, this guy over here, Graham Watkins. Wait. High five! You got it. Like, can you do that high five? It's like there. It's all backward. Graham, do you mind giving everyone just like I don't know if you know what Tinder is, but do you mind giving everyone like a Tinder bio version of who you are?
I'm afraid, yeah. I don't have a Tinder bio.
Do you know what Tinder is?
No idea. So professional musician by trade, have been for maybe since 2001. I would say I was a professional working musician. Yeah. And then I also am a co-owner in Marshall Event Gear, which is an eventing company which provides sound and backline for artists. I have a recording studio as well. I'm very privileged as well to have multiple bands. So I've got Swing City, Graham Watkins Project, and of course my solo career, which I've just launched now. And yeah, I've got an awesome family as well, which is part of my successes in life, I think. Yeah, definitely.
I really like that. They're part of your successes. I totally agree with that, because to have that backbone, that foundation behind you is so important. And I was actually going to ask you, it's part of one of my questions for you. I didn't want to ask Kim because I feel like I need to ask you this question when it comes to balancing life as a dad, as a husband, and then work. I mean, I want to get into that as well, just to chat to you about that in a minute. But before we do that, we have a special pop-in guest. And the reason why I ended with Graham is because we've got this pop-in guest. And I want to start with Graham and his career. Nathan Rowe. Hello, my friend. Hello, my friend.
How many of us are getting roses tonight?
There can only be one.
Oh, always. And I'm just a poppin'. I don't stand a chance.
Oh my gosh, I love this dude. He's been on the show before, and I think I actually asked him tonight. I said, listen, I've got Graham on. do you wanna pop in and just like, sort of add to the convo that we're having?" He's like, "Yeah, sure, of course." So I was like, "Cool, pop in." So
Yeah,
Graham,
so this is our time together.
How are you, my brother? Gay?
oh,
Good to you, brother. So lovely to see you all. All
So
of you.
nice.
okay, we're gonna leave the room now. We're gonna go. Cheers.
Right, it's messy after the intro.
Yeah.
Look, distractors have to separate the dogs. We're still introducing them. One is
A bit of a mission.
the one is looking a little bit peeved right now. She's going to
Luckily,
do
we
it.
had some practice on that show.
You're
sweet.
sitting here and relaxing.
Oh,
Cute.
Oh, cute. I've got, just so everybody knows who's watching, I have got pictures of the dogs. Don't worry, we will show pictures of the dogs. Needn't fear. So, Graham, can I ask you, when we're going to get to the link with Nathan now, but where did, just so everybody knows, where did music start for you? When did you start playing music, writing songs, and when did it become serious for you?
So I picked the guitar up. I would say grade 11. I would say so. Standard 9 back in the day. But my dad was a musician. My mum was a wonderful singer, and their parents were both musicians. So I do come from a line of people that had it in their lives, and I grew up with it sort of in the background. It was certainly a feature in my life from day one. In fact, some of the earliest photographs I have of myself are of me sitting around the fire with my mum and dad and all their friends. And that was the average weekend for us. Friends would come over, and it would start on a Friday and end late on a Sunday. It was like they lived it, And then so I started in grade 11. I picked up a guitar, and I didn't know any chords. I didn't know anything. I kind of just played the top E string and kind of wrote this song about pink emotion. Oh, it's embarrassing. Yeah, but that's what it was called. And then I started a little band with a friend of mine called Bratt Lancaster in grade 12 called Index Finger. We thought it was really cool because we thought there was the zap sign, but it wasn't. It's that finger. So it was a bit of a backfire. And then,
It's so funny. It's so funny.
Yeah. So, then I decided, but music kind of was a secondary thing for me. I was big into the performing arts. I loved the theatre. I would say that theatre was my first love, absolutely. And then left high school, met this lady next to me over here. And she helped me get into university because financially I wasn't able to, and my grades were also nonsense because I was a bit of a loafer. But then I found UCT, the theatre and performance degree, got my degree from them, which is a very specialized degree. Not many people get in, so I was very lucky, very privileged. And then, I did the whole reality TV show thing and went into Idols and got through on sheer personality. And found myself all of a sardine musician. And people were like, "Well, we expect that from you now." And I was like, "Brr." So, but by then, luckily I knew E, G, A, and D. So I was like, "Cool, we can write an album with that. You just need 3 chords and a story."
The truth.
And we did that. Yeah. And I found, Reno, Matt, and Rudo. And the Graham Watkins project was born. And since then, it's been my life and my livelihood. Yeah, very, very lucky, very blessed to say that I can call myself a professional muser in an industry which is quite hard to make a living from. Yeah, so very blessed.
That is very true. And I mean, the thing is, the reason why I do the show is because I'm a huge fan of everybody. So I only bring people on that I'm like huge fans of. So all of you in this room, I'm huge fans of all of you. And Graham, I love your music. I love watching you live. I love your personality, your energy. I want to be you when I grow up, like all of the above. So I want to ask, when did because now Nathan and you and
you don't want to grow up because it just gets sore. Everything gets sore.
Everything gets sore.
You wake up and you're
already
like, "Why did I do that?"
But you've got the leg to be Graham
all the time. Your spinal cord doesn't work anymore. Just stay 25.
We'll stay young. Cool. Got that. Yeah, being old is a mental thing, isn't it? You can still stay young, or But no. Okay, cool.
If I look that good at 27, gosh, man, I'll tell you, it's unfair. The injustice is just unreal.
So I wanted to ask, when did Swing City start? When did that happen?
Oh, it happened by accident over a Boerewors.
I love that.
2013. Nathan and I come from very similar backgrounds in terms of having our mums and dads being influences in our lives from a musical perspective. Nathan had a dad who loved jazz, and I had a dad who loved jazz, and they both played in jazz bands. And we grew up with a love for the genre. And you know what I love most about the genre is it doesn't take itself too seriously, but it is very honest and very serious in a lot of the things that it deals with and talks about. And we kind of said, hey, wouldn't it be cool to become like a swing band, just as a joke, And our managers both heard us because they were all at the bar, and they were like, okay, you guys need to do that.
And Loy's manager.
And Loy's manager as well. And then we were like, we didn't even really know Loiso that well. We were kind of like, we're just going to, and we had got 3 gigs before we had our first rehearsal. And John and I were like, hey, we should actually start this thing now and get it done properly. That's us. Look how good we look.
Stunning.
Wow,
Stunning.
lockdown has been unkind.
Weren't you all 27 in that?
Yeah, we were all 27.
I love that. You all look stunning. I mean, and I'm a big fan of the genre as well. I do love jazz. Grew up listening to classical and jazz, and of course a whole lot of 80s. But jazz is also a big part. So I really do love the genre and the classics. You gotta know the classics. And I have seen you guys live, and I adore all of you. So I mean, big fans again. And Nathan, I know you're in the middle of stuff, and you're welcome to just shout when you need to hop off. Otherwise, I'll keep you here forever. And knowing Graham, we'll both keep you here forever. But I want to know.
No.
Sorry. Sorry. I want to know, what is it like being in this group with Graham and compared to what you do in your own personal career?
It's exceptionally frustrating. No. I love both Gray and Loy. They bring such different energies to what I would do, which is why I suppose sometimes it can be frustrating, but it just clicks. The chemistry is so magic, and that's why we've been going for. I mean, this was supposed to be a side gig, not even a side project. We were probably going to do it once, and then it just kept coming and kept coming. And I think, like Graham said, this music came from a time of the Great Depression. It was just after World War II, or in between the world wars even. And you look at the time we're in now, and we're in this sort of weird time of change and depression. There's so many people who have lost jobs, lost work. Some people have gone trading, in like desperation because they can't model. And like Graham, a business owner because he can't play music. It's ridiculous. But
we would thank it. Yeah.
So it's, times are so weird, and a lot of people are really battling. And I think this music will always be relevant because it just puts a smile on people's faces. There's nothing funnier than a trumpet. I mean, it literally is the fart noise of musical instruments. And it. Everyone loves a good fart joke.
It's just building on that. I think it's incredibly, you must understand that people back in 1942, all the way back to the 20s, kind of used their radios as a form. That was their television. So they would sit in front of their radios.
That was their Netflix.
That was their Netflix. Yeah. So these people were singing about, it's all going to be okay, songs of love and goodwill, and larks sitting in a tree, and so on and so forth. So it really was a way of distributing happiness in pretty tough times,
True.
And
very true.
yeah, I hope a genre is born out of COVID, because I hope a brand new genre appears that kind of gives everybody the same sense of positivity and the same sense of happiness. And I'm sure we'll find that the amount of people that are going to become their own. Look, you're a perfect example. You're doing it now. you're changing the landscape. You're taking the new norm and you're making it something which isn't necessarily done. You know, particularly South Africans, the internet and this whole kind of concept is very foreign to us. But even though it's been around for a very long time, whereas perhaps in the States, you know, where we're broadcasting to now, and the UK and so on and so forth, those concepts have obviously been they've been accepted a long time ago. So whereas South Africans now are all of a sudden starting to consume more of the streaming platforms and less of the kind of pre-production, this is what you're supposed to watch, go.
Yes.
You know?
Yes.
Which I think is incredibly good, and I think it's going to give birth to a whole new genre of musicians, whole new type of musicians.
Yes.
That's what
I totally agree with you that the world is totally opening up when it comes to what people are craving, what they're needing, what they're wanting. And then what people are wanting to put out there, it's suddenly becoming acceptable to be different. Where before you had to fit into the cookie cutter mold in order to release and produce music and be successful. Now, especially during COVID, because there is no other way for you to release music, for you to become an artist. This is the only way for you to do it. And suddenly everyone's got access to everything. So I think you're right. I think that there might be something born out of this space, and I can't wait to see what's going to happen after COVID. But I actually wanted to pick up on what you said, that that music was something that during between World War I and World War II, jazz was that thing that sort of gave people that perhaps a bit of love or a feeling that they were missing, and that, you know, and we're now going through something just as traumatic in our space, all relatively speaking. We're going through something also quite traumatic. And I actually want to ask, Asanda, I'm going to ask you a serious question in a minute, but I first wanted to ask you, what are you listening to right now? If you could tell people what you're listening to, some inspo for us to go and download on Spotify. What are you listening to right now that might sort of help people through? What's been helping you through times at home, you know, during COVID?
So at the moment, I've been trying to take this time to find new music and also to listen to see what's being put out there by artists. So because in my head and in my thinking during this time, artists should be listening to the people instead of just putting out one. Yes, there's projects that you've been working on and you would like them to be out there, but this is a time for us as also as people behind the scenes. So me and Kim would have to kind of like listen to what the people are looking for out there. And as artists and people who produce stuff for public consumption should also listen, so that you can feedback to what people are wanting. Because at this point in time, we can't just release or do things for the sake of doing them or because it was in our timeline. Yeah. So now I've been spending this time to kind of figure out what message artists are putting out there or brands are putting out there, and to kind of see how are they communicating or how are they being part of the conversation that is happening right now.
Yeah.
Yeah,
no, I love that.
Sorry. Just to comment on that, I think brands are having to find a very different space and different way of communicating with the consumer now, because this consumer isn't able to be as sort of involved in the touchy-feely aspect of the brand, or the brand ambassadors aren't necessarily playing the sports and accessible anymore. So it's now finding a new landscape and navigating a new landscape. I mean, I'm dying to know what cryptocurrency is doing in this current world, because you must be playing in a very, very specialized little game there, because it's if it wasn't frightening before, I think it must be even more frightening now and uncertain. So I'd love to know. It must be, I'm keen.
Well, go for it. Yeah.
I mean, it's just, but you talk about advertising and brands, and it's that's something that I've been doing for 20 years as a model, 20 odd years. And no one can advertise like they did before. You know, we're doing castings from your home. There was a TV commercial for a car brand, and the guy filmed it in his home pretended as if he was enjoying the vehicle, but from within his own home. So it's everything's changed a lot. We don't know what it's going to be like in the future. But we're having to prepare for, well, maybe everything's going to be filmed by yourself or your neighbor, and do your own makeup sort of thing. So maybe it's all moving to influencers. They'll start brands sending all products and paying influencers.
I think I think if we
Go
thought
ahead,
there was
Kim.
power in influencers before, it's all about to explode now, especially with
So
TikTok really being a
the
game
forefront,
changer
sure.
at the moment. I was speaking to a couple of the people at the TikTok head offices, and they were just saying how the platform has exploded over lockdown. And the South African numbers,
People are
they
bored,
cannot even believe like the daily signups. And where I get so frustrated because every time I'm like, okay, cool, I've just got Instagram down. Like, I know how my influencers work on Instagram. Like, boom, TikTok. I'm like, damn it. I'm constantly learning about like, and I think that's the cool thing. Well, I really enjoy it. Asanda, do you enjoy it too? Like, you're always on your toes, and it's like, and you're always learning new things. And each platform, like an influencer has a niche. Each platform has a niche.
Yes.
Sorry, Asanda was saying something, and I really interrupted him.
No, it's okay. Definitely, this time. It was the time. I always say. I was saying to someone that during COVID, it was a time for us to stop moving and kind of like focus on what's happening around us and kind of like wait, sit down and listen. And in terms of how like Instagram works now, it's totally different before COVID time. And TikTok. I also joined TikTok a month ago, and then I left it because it was becoming overwhelming because you watch one video and then you keep on scrolling. And the next thing, 3 hours later, time has gone past and you haven't done anything.
Exactly.
Oh, that is so true. No, I'm with you. And I've actually also recently joined TikTok, and it's a whole nother monster on its own, because to try and master, like you said, Kim, mastering Instagram was one thing, and you knew you could do X amount of posts, you knew you wanted a certain amount of interaction, and Facebook was for X, Y, and Z, and there's Instagram's for this, Twitter's for that. And then TikTok comes along, and it's like a whole lot of Instagram stories essentially that you somehow have to get traction on. And I think it's a whole new world for us as artists, as brand ambassadors, when it comes to product, anything, to hold on to something, to sort of grab onto something like that and to use that. I actually wanted to... Oh, yes.
Sorry. To say something. I just remembered my thought when Kim was speaking is that during this time and going forward, I think we're going to go into a space where we have to forget about the ways that we worked prior to COVID-19 and try to figure out new ways of working, trying to find new ways, new systems of like how now people are doing what you call modeling gigs online and all of those kind of things. And people are producing a lot of content at the comfort of their own home. Now we can see that people can work in isolation. So how does, in the near future, how are we going to work? We can't go back to like, oh, okay, cool, castings, everybody in this building, because everyone has said that I can do a casting at the comfort of my house. So we kind of have to forget about how the world worked before and kind of figure out how we're going to work now and the
going
future.
forward. That's so true.
Production teams will be smaller. You're not going to have huge teams flying across the world. It's going to be maybe a 5-man team, if even. It's just going to be you, yourself, and your phone, possibly. It all depends on how long COVID goes on for, how long the lockdowns go for.
But also, I think as a public figure and a public entity, remaining relevant, whereas before you could do all these lavish things and you toured a lot and there were big numbers and there were destinations that you went to with massive amounts of people that you performed for. Now, all of a sudden, how to repackage yourself and reposition yourself. Because you're spending 7 days a week at home, really, actually. And out of those 7 days a week, you maybe have 3 hours where you're outside, and 3 of those hours are probably spent within the side of a shopping mall, shopping for whatever it is, you know what I mean, or getting your essentials. And then some of us are working, but it's kind of like it's in increments, So I think it's how to repackage yourself and keep interesting, because everyone's giving the same photograph of the same plate of food that they've cooked with the same recipe. So it's kind of, it's and that's what I'm finding most interesting, because I'm seeing some people nail it, And I'm seeing other people really just kind of falling into a bit of a routine of kind of not chasing tail kind of thing. So it's going to be interesting. Yeah.
No, totally. And
Sorry,
you go, Mark.
A lot of this was going to happen anyway. It's just that COVID and lockdown has sped it up. So you got to adapt and evolve much faster now than what you did before. And that's why, with regards to crypto, it's the same thing. I was dabbling in it before, but now I've gone a lot deeper into it because I think that, that's how countries are going to send money across borders. That's to prevent corruption, because you can keep track of everything. That's avoiding the use of cash, cash-free societies. So there's a lot of aspects to that, as just crypto itself.
No, absolutely. But I think the whole world is now realizing that the digital revolution, the fourth industrial revolution, I think has arrived. I think we can say it hit every continent across the world. If you didn't know about it before, you know about it now. So I think from online shopping to what we're doing right now, to cryptocurrency, to pilots making films at home, to doing advertising at home, it has happened. Homeschooling.
Yeah.
So the world has completely gone to the digital space. And I think
I totally agree with you.
Find your space now. Because if you don't find your space now, you're dead in the water. There's going to be no room for you.
I totally agree with you. And I think that it's incredible how the world is changing. And the thing is, this has always been here. People have always been doing these things. There has always been online shopping, and there has always been homeschooling. There has always been that. But now suddenly it's the only thing that we can use. Now we're going to just see industries burst. I mean, for example, my parents took my sister and I out of sort of mainstream school when I was in grade 5. And we were homeschooled from grade 6 up to matric. And I finished a year early. My sister finished 2 years early. And now there's a whole lot more of those sort of homeschooling vibe schools. We're back 5, 6, 7 years ago, that didn't exist. And same with when it comes to finding new artists and artists using certain vehicles to get known. We've actually got a comment here from fame.org. I don't know if we're going to get the whole thing in, but one of the best things that came out of COVID is the amount of lesser known artists that managed to expand their audiences. And I think that's incredible that those artists who are the Billie Eilishes of this time, those sort of really funky, cool, different, unique people who've got something different to say in a very different way are now being heard and are being wanted, in fact. And I actually want to ask Maricia, I know I asked this under the same question, what are you listening to right now that's perhaps sort of inspired you during COVID or kept you grounded? Or perhaps can I even go there? What is your favorite love song? Can I go there?
No, let's not go there. Let's go to Mark's taste in music. So that's what I've been listening to.
Okay.
Lots of metal and rock, but I've actually, it's actually quite enjoyable. So, I mean, it's completely different to what I'm used to listening, but it's very interesting. And I think I'm someone I love listening to new things. I like people introducing me to new things. And that was quite interesting to hear.
I think that's really sweet. If anybody watching has any sort of inspos for us, please comment them and we'll all go download on Spotify and iTunes and go and listen to your taste in music as well. So Maricia, I know that you are a speech therapist as well. Yeah. So can I ask, what has sort of happened to your career? How has it evolved and changed? How was it before Bachelor, after Bachelor, and now during COVID? I mean, are you able to actually work? What is happening?
Yes. So depends on what you do, but often we are involved with swallowing. So then you are deemed as an essential service.
Right.
And you will work. So phase 5 or level 5, a lot of my friends who do that were working. I wasn't. I only started working again during level 4. So I am, but it is only in bits and pieces. It's not how it used to be. So I think it's maybe 3 hours, 3 days a week, and usually I work 20 hours a week. So it is very different. But I've also started tutoring online because I had to do something, So I started tutoring online, and I really enjoy that. So that's what I do the other half of the time now.
From 3 a.m.
Yeah.
Can you do therapy online? Do you do speech therapy online?
So often they use Zoom as a platform, but I say to Mark, I was taught a technique called prompt, where you actually have to touch someone's face, and you cannot do that online. It's quite difficult.
No.
So
Yes.
yeah, it's limited therapy to some extent, but nonetheless, we're still trying. So yeah.
I interviewed a guy the other week, last week, sorry, and he said to me that they're all a bunch of musos, and they've all gone online now to start teaching, and all the parents are now saying, look, this is what we want. This is how we actually want our kids to learn now, because it saves us so much time. We don't have to sit in traffic anymore.
Wow.
We don't have to do that. So it's amazing how a lot of the online stuff, online teaching, if you're an online teacher now, it's the new norm. I promise you that's the future.
Yeah.
One-on-one teaching is going to be a very rare thing.
Yeah. But also the market is extremely saturated currently. Like, I think there's so many different companies, there's so many teachers, so I think they might start to sift a few people out. I don't know, but that's just what I'm thinking now. So
nonsense.
Yeah.
No, I think it's really interesting how things, like we've been saying, things are going that way. But I actually want to just chat about The Bachelor, if we can go there for a hot minute, because that was all before COVID, and there were lots of people on set, and there were lots of ladies, beautiful gowns. I mean, it's quite the opposite of what life is now. Mark, what has it been like, sort of having yourself put out there for the world to see, when it was something that's pretty vulnerable, quite special, your heart, and putting out there for the world to comment on? And then how has COVID then kind of helped your relationship, because you've been able to spend a lot of time privately and together without sort of having a lot of people, or has it just been really difficult?
Well, first off, it was a lot scarier than I thought. I like want to shut myself every day, but okay, I shouldn't put that out there. Sorry, but yeah, it's pretty daunting, and you're thrown in the deep end. With modeling or anything, acting and all of that, there's a script, and there what you got to do, but now it's just you. There's no script. A lot of people think there's a script. A lot of people thought it was being filmed. Now there are a lot of misconceptions, but you're not told anything, and you don't know what's going on with the ladies and the mansion and whatever else. But no, lockdown, it helped us because a lot of it's built on mistrust. You don't know what's really going on. You're hearing a lot of things, and a lot of people want to tear you apart. Not only audience, but also people in the show, and they want to. Yeah, and exactly. Create some extra drama and everything else. But even the ladies themselves, they want to. Once their ego has been burst, and they want to ruin what could be. So, and also, we're not supposed to see each other without a producer, a PR, like a list of people knowing, and then they'll arrange a special location, arrive in separate cars, undercover.
Wow.
And kind of thing. And now, obviously, well, we kept it a secret. Yeah, we met up during lockdown, moved into mine, Marissa moved into mine, and it helped a lot, because a lot of these stories are getting spun, and even audience members creating, for some reason, because some people assume that we were together or assume someone else, I chosen someone else, and they would start creating these some drama, and then how do you prove it's not happening if we're not together? So yeah, it helped a lot.
And
reality TV is a beast, hey? It really is such a beast.
You think it's bad, and then when you're in it.
I've been the manager of South African Idols for the last 5 years, and what they do to reality TV stars, what the public do, it's brutal.
I mean, not to, but I think The Bachelor itself is worse in many ways, because it's a love story. It's not like Survivor, or and then different people are hurt, and then how do they deal with it? And then everyone's got a fan favorite like any other show, but now there's one person that's making these decisions. Yeah, and all of that pressure falls on you, even though it's already happened. It's,
Sure.
Yeah.
you want to answer back, but you can't, and that's the other thing. You can't.
No, very true. I mean, I was actually going to ask him because I mean, the idols thing is really cool to be able to be that hands-on and be involved with the artist and the production behind everything. But I actually wanted to ask, now talking about this, what is it like dealing? Do you ever deal hands-on with artists, and what is it like dealing with them when it comes to the live aspect of television? What is it like handling artists?
I think it's very difficult, especially when it comes to reality TV. So we'll already manage him.
Walk in the park. Walk in the park.
I'm a breeze.
But no, I think reality TV in today's society, everybody follows the Kardashians and they follow the American idea of what it is, and there obviously is an expectation. And I've been the production of South African Idols have been amazing to me. They would allow me to actually have workshops with the idols for 60 years. So I would go through to them once a week for the last 5 years, and
She wrote a book for this.
I wrote like a manual on how to go through, what is expected of you in the industry. Because so many people, they enter a reality show and they are a teacher, or they have another career. They are a business person, or they are a beautician.
Or they're a 16-year-old who has no idea what life's all about.
And they enter. A lot of the time, the initial idea for entering is, because you can win $1 million or because you can win a car, but they think that once you win, the career automatically follows.
Right.
So I took the opportunity to try and, because I even saw it when he was in it, there is that expectation. You take a look at the viewerships, you take a look at the vote numbers, and you see all these millions of votes coming in, and you're like, oh, it's a done deal.
But I think also from a contestant perspective, I haven't done that. I think as well, she's an artist manager, sure, but she's more an expectations manager. Trying to get people to realize that the hard work actually starts post-competition. If you want to become professional at something, you need to become completely invested in it, 100%. And I always said to her, and we always said to each other, we're going to do this, but it's like our lives depend on it, because we didn't give ourselves plan B. We said, this is what we want to do. Are we going to do it? Okay, hold my hand. Let's jump and see what happens. Okay.
Yeah.
And thankfully, it paid off. And I've seen a lot of my friends throughout the years who have gone through a very similar situation have sort of, struggled with the expectations in the beginning, but then eventually, once they realize that hurdle is done, boom, then it's a career. A lot of people that have even gone to reality TV shows, they go, I'll get texts from kids going, how do I be famous? I'm like, don't ask me that question.
Yeah. It's one thing.
That's your problem.
Yeah.
Right.
Raymond,
sorry, Asanda.
It's something I always say to, because I also represent artists and talent. It's one thing I always say to them. I always tell them, in this industry, it's 20% talent and 80% all work.
Yes, that's exactly it.
The 80% is all business. You have to make business decisions. And you shouldn't actually worry about, how my cover looks. Your cover can look great, and the music itself, it's 20% of it. But most of it is getting those business deals out of the way. And that's how you make your money. And that's how you get your business size actually has an influence on what gets bought by consumers.
Completely. You are a product. You are the brand. And I think a successful musician surrounds himself with people that know how to manage his or her brand. And
Yeah.
that is
Yes.
essential, because when you become a brand and a product, like for example, if we look at, let's take Coca-Cola, for example. Coca-Cola have a set of rules and a set of bylaws and an ethos and a company portfolio that they run everything by. You cannot be, you can't air them here. You can't affiliate them with this brand. They are an entity in on themselves. Okay. So we have to sort of apply the same rule to us. What do we stand for? Who do we represent? Is it? Am I going to bite the head off a chicken on stage? If so, I'm going to run with that. Okay.
Yeah.
Or am I just going to be, straight and narrow? I'll never do that. No.
No, I totally agree with you. I love everything that what you're saying. All of you right now is like brilliant, absolute gold. We actually have a comment here, and I just want to read this. Great to hear that you do that, Kim. The business of music can definitely be overwhelming for musicians, and I think that a lot of people, we had this talk last week, a lot of people focus on the show side of show business and they forget about the business side. They don't want to know that they need a publicist, a manager, an agent, building the right team. That word has been such a good, like, hot word for us. Team and networking, following up, hashtag following up. So important that so many people forget.
And you get these young artists on the rise who will sign anything. And part of my workshops that I do with the idols is before they sign the contracts, where I hold it up to them and I go, do you understand you are bound to this for the rest of your life?
Yes.
Like, I can tell you what's in it. The lawyer can tell you what's in it. But unless you yourself have read it and Googled every little term that you don't understand, the amount of times he's come to me and gone, can you read it? And I go, no, you read it, you Google it, and then I'll read it. Because it's so easy for an artist to just go, my manager said, and when they get into trouble, oh, I didn't know what I was signing. My manager said it. Your manager is there to guide you, not make those decisions for you. Your manager is your business partner, not your boss, and you are not your manager's boss. You are partners. We guide you to what we think is the best business decision. You can always turn around and go, I disagree, and I choose to take that road.
The nice thing as well is having that relationship. You've got somebody that you can bounce something off. So you can go, do you think this is a good idea? And then your manager goes, not sure it's a good idea. And you go, why? And more often than not, your manager will kind of highlight all the things you've been worried about and then almost reaffirm going, actually, it's not a good idea. It's actually a terrible idea. Thank you, manager. Or you can go, your manager hits you with a whole bunch of things and you're like, actually, I didn't think of those in the first place. So it is a nice option to have that. So you can still, at the end of the day, make the decision as an artist. I mean, if I turn around and say, actually, you know what, stuff you, I'm going to roll with it. It's on my head. It's on my head because I had somebody who I share my business, and it is a share because you do give a percentage to your manager. Your manager has an invested interest in you. So he or she is not going to make a bad decision on your thing. Although in saying that, there have been the destruction of many a great artist because of poor management. So in the same way, as I'm advocating for them, I'm also saying that choose your manager wisely.
But this is also why the artist needs to know how to read a contract.
Exactly.
Because your manager, who at that time you put your entire trust into, they could be signing bad deals. And that's on the artist.
On your behalf,
You can't close your eyes and go, I don't see. You have to go, I don't understand what this word does. I, as a manager, there are some terminologies that come up in a contract that I'm like, oh, what does that mean again? And I have to Google it. And this is why I'm always saying to my artists, like, the agreements are not for one party to approve or disapprove. Like, everybody needs to understand every single thing in that agreement.
100%. Asanda, were you hopping in there?
No, I was actually just co-signing what Graham and Kim is saying.
We're all co-signing this. I love it.
What you guys are, Kim and Asanda and Graham, it's it's across the board. It's not only so. Also, we've noticed that, and the reason partly why I chose Marissa is she didn't get into it for the fame, and she got into it for love, as corny as it sounds. But we've realized that if we want to make something of this, we have to keep it with the times. We have to keep doing stuff because this is going to fall away, you know. And it's not like you said, Kim. It's not America, you know. And you look at anyone that's on TV in America, and they're almost instantly famous. They don't need to really do that much. But here in South Africa, we've got to make effort. You've got to hustle, and you got to keep relevant. So always new things.
Yeah. Sorry.
No. So it's so that's exactly what we've been talking about recently. We actually, why not make something of it? Why not? And especially during this, when we can't really work like we used to, potentially create a brand, do something that will benefit others, and turn into this.
Yes, Kim, sorry, as well.
No, so just also going on that American thing, like everybody, for example, takes a look at someone like Beyonce and they go, oh, she's amazing. I just want to be like Beyonce. I make all of my artists watch her. It's the Coachella documentary.
The Homecoming documentary.
Yes.
Homecoming.
Amazing.
She gives birth to twins, and 8 months later, she is on stage. She's conceptualized her show. She's conceptualized the choreography. She's overseen the wardrobe. She does not rest.
Yeah.
And everyone thinks,
how little people see the hard work.
Yeah.
Actually.
And they go, Beyonce's life must be so nice. No, she has that career because she is so in charge of her brand.
Oh, yeah.
And every single park and light on that stage has been placed by her for the end effect of what she wants her brand to reflect. That is the dedication. That is what we talk about when we say hard work. So many people, so many artists go, I go onto stage and I work so hard, and I'm like, honey, you go onto stage, you sang for 15 minutes and you slept for like 20 hours of the day. You missed your choreography. Your personal trainer phoned me because they were mad. You also missed 2 flights. But that half an hour or 10 minutes of going on stage, that's not the hard work. It's the leader and that control of your brand.
You know, it takes 10,000 hours to become an overnight success. Because people shouldn't see the work that you put in. They see you pop up and you all of a sudden, wow, Billie Eilish. Everyone's like, oh, she's the new kid on the block. You know, she just was born like that. No.
Billie Eilish, we've been grooming her since she was
14 years old.
Last year, I was at the Muse Expo. It was at Muse Expo. And her management team did a briefing. And the work that they've put into Billie since the age of 14.
But Phineas as well. I mean, he's been
the team. Yeah. But then everyone's like, oh, she's an overnight success. She's been grinding.
And another thing as well, I say it quite often to people, and it's it always gets my brain into perspective for me, is geographically, South Africa is the same size as Texas. If you think of it like that, then you realize that we are so small in comparison to a United States, which you could spend an entire year just touring Texas, which I met a band who does that, and they
never leave Texas.
They're rolling around in Bentleys, you know, so they just sort of like do that. They do the circuit, whereas we can do the circuit, but we also have to compete with many multiple cultures, multiple languages. So there are such small little pockets. It's a crazy. We're the best because it's just it's a hustle, bro. It's
try explaining the South African music industry to the American Idols.
They've got nothing.
People who are my bosses. And they're like, so how are we doing with radio? And I'm like, okay, you have to understand that we have 11 official languages.
Yeah, I mean they've got a very. that's pretty much it. It's like. You know?
No, it's very true.
And then Justin.
It's very true. I mean, I travel to Nashville at least twice a year, and every time I go there, it's you have to explain TIA. This is Africa. It's a different space. You do have 11 official languages. You've got cultures. You've got different types of music, and we're also competing with international artists that are taking over the radio stations as well. And it's quite cool to see some radio stations starting to play more and more local music, which is amazing, promoting our local artists, especially during lockdown, because we're all struggling. So it's amazing seeing that. But I actually wanted to hop onto what you were saying, Kim, about Beyonce sort of knowing every single little detail about her live show, her stage, her costume, where her mic is. It's incredible the amount of work that goes into that sort of thing. And actually, Asanda, you've been a PR behind some major international artists. So can I ask you, do you see, or is it unfair? This is an unfair question. But do you see a difference between the international artists and the local artists that perform? Is there a gap, or do you think that that local artists are sort of putting in that amount of effort?
There is some local artists that are putting a lot of effort, and then there is some are just a little bit slacking behind. And it's something I was gonna say when Kim was speaking about Beyonce a little bit. I was like, guys, it's something I always tell my clients is that you have to be an ongoing production as an artist. Every time, you must know, every time you're on radio, you're on TV, you're doing a print interview or whatever, you are selling yourself, and you have to put yourself together in the way that you want people to perceive you. So the way you dress, the way you speak, the tone you use, the words you choose to use, it's always like that. And as much as I'm a PR practitioner, when I get to a set, I always ask if my client is being interviewed. I always ask for the script before the client gets there, so that I can see what's being asked, because I know my client. But you will find that, as Kim said, clients are late, they miss their flights, or they miss call time and all of those kind of things. So I'm the one making excuses for them, and they're not. It goes back to being taking the industry as a business, taking your career as a business. If you don't, as an artist, don't do that, then it kind of creates a bad what you call this a bad look for your brand, and it makes you lack in terms of international standards. And then you get to ask yourself why certain local artists are not being supported as much as international artists and all of that. And I'm just like, it's not that you're lacking talent, it's just that you're not being a production to yourself. You're not working on your brand and on your product as much.
I really think that's an incredibly important fact there, is that you as an artist, you're like I said again, you're a brand, you're a product, right? Okay. If you're a company and your clients all of a sudden, or your customers rather, all of a sudden are disappointed with you because you're unreliable, because you're never on time, because you're late, or whatever it is, it doesn't fit well, it doesn't gel well. So if your PR guy, your public relations person, who's actually supposed to be making you look a certain way and deal and handle your media, is spending all of their time putting out fires, trying to rescue your public image, as opposed to create and mold and shape and sort of sharpen your public image, they then become a redundant entity. I mean, I actually feel so sorry for you, because I know exactly
PR, any person in PR,
I have to take my hand off, because I would drown my artists. I really would. I would just sing.
And another thing I may add is that I always say that to artists and people in the public eye, don't ever try to sell yourself as something you're not. Don't ever be like, oh, I'm this glitz and glamour person, where we know you like being in sweats and all of that. Because when your consumers see you in public, they always expect you to be wearing the latest designer wear and all of that. And if you're not all prompt and put together and wearing gold chains and all of that, and they see you in sweats, they get so confused. They feel like, okay, are you having a bad day? Are you okay? Is there something wrong? And you like, no, this is me. And they're like, it's me. I always say that. They're like, oh, I want to be like Jay-Z. I'm like, no, you can't be. There's only one Jay-Z. You can't be like it. Just like I think I want to be the next Beyonce. You can't be and the next Beyonce. It's already one. Be yourself. Be that and build a brand around who you are, and it makes it easier to sell, and it doesn't feel like acting as a talent. It doesn't feel like you're putting a front or anything. You're just doing you.
I think that is so true, and I think one of the thing is I love watching Judge Judy, and she always says that if you tell the truth, you never have to lie, and you never have to remember anything. You don't have to remember anything. You just tell the truth. You're just doing your life, and if you be your authentic self, you never have to lie about anything. You can say, I wear sweatpants, like Billie Eilish. I like wearing oversized things, and that's just the way it is. Beyonce, I love wearing X, Y, and Z. That's just the way it is. And I actually wanted to ask Maricia and Mark, when it came to The Bachelor, did you guys walk into it thinking, now I've got to sort of, I know I'm putting across a certain image into the public eye, and where was the line drawn between who you really are, being at home with the dogs, and then putting across the line something that's sort of perhaps more presentable to an audience? I mean, where was the balance in that?
That's what drew me to Marissa, that she is exactly who she is, and I felt I was going to go into that exactly as who I am, true to myself. I'm not going to change anything, because like you say, I mean, if you eventually the truth's going to come out. It's effectively it's a lie. You're lying to yourself, you're lying to other people. What's the point? Waste of energy. So it's exhausting, and then you're going to have to put that front up. I mean, we're filming, at least on The Bachelor, you're filming every single day for 2 months, or maybe 4 days off, and 2.5. So I'm not even gonna try and do that. And then and it's the same for your social media. You know, then people are going to see you on the social media, like you say, and then you go out to the shops and you're in your sweats. But that's pretty much how I live. So I'm not going to pretend that I'm doing, wearing Gucci, whatever. So I mean, I mean, my dogs wear Gucci, but that's a different story. So that's I went. Marissa the same. We both went in. I think there were, and you all of you know that in this industry, in reality shows and all of that, people want to portray something else. And there were a lot of women in the show that wanted to portray something else. And it's always going to come out.
Yeah,
and it's very hard to be yourself, especially in reality TV when there's production around it. Because production, the production side, all they want to do is, at the end of the day, they want to make the money they used to create this program. So they would want you to do certain things and all of that, and portray yourself in a certain way. So it's very, it's a very hard thing to do. And I always say, I clap for people who always keep it real. So that even after, because I know you always get that pressure from people behind the scenes. They're like, you two are the perfect couple, so act like a perfect couple. Even if you're having a bad day, act like a perfect couple. You can't be turning tables in a restaurant or downing beers and all of that.
Like I said before, I'm not going to be running a very long, exhausting TV commercial. I'm doing this for the reason that we've said, and I'm not going to be advertising. And it's the same with what we're all talking about, social media wise, influencing, growing your brand. You don't want to just be advertising all the time and just not looking like a long TV commercial. So
true.
And also, again, the industry is so small that we'll probably meet each other at an event, or you'll be handing over an award in an event, and I might be providing the music, and then you meet somebody else there. And our various sort of disciplines, being it acting, dance, music, MC, comedian, they cross-pollinate. That's how small this industry is. Another thing is, a lot of people go in with massive ego, and you realize that very quickly that person, you won't see them in a year and a half or so. That person's going to fall off the thing, because we know that we work with each other all the time. And if you make me angry and I make you angry, or we make the manager angry, or we make the client angry, someone's going to find out about it. And icto facto through the grapevine, you're never going to get booked again. That's why I said to the younger artists out there, humility is your greatest weapon. If you can remain humble and true, you are going to be around for a very long time. But if you come in here with like a gunslinging ego, then you're gone.
And I think
that is
the musicians, especially the reality musicians, you know, that we get mainly in South Africa, and when I say they come out and they think that they've made it, they think that by getting to whatever, and it's not only on Idols, it happens on some of the other reality shows on the other channels as well. They think that by winning or coming second or whatever, they think that is it. They got to that place, and that I think, you know, that's where the ego really, really, really does come in. Another thing I wanted to touch on from what Asanda was saying earlier, the coolest thing about COVID and where we are and what has happened with lockdown is that our consumers right now, they don't want lies anymore.
No.
It's almost like with lockdown, a giant filter has been lifted where people want to see you as you.
So true.
And it's making it because there has been that pressure on artists, like we were saying earlier, something like, you know, dressing up in the chains and everything like that and maintaining that kind of brand. But what I've noticed that the consumer behavior change at the moment has been, we want to see you in your living room. We want to see you looking like us right now. We don't want to see someone looking better than us. We want to see you looking like us so we can go, oh, wow, Alicia Keys also likes to wear sweatpants and wear no makeup.
Because it's more approachable now. It's like, oh, wow, they're going through the same thing I am.
So true.
And this is what I'm loving so much about being a manager in this time. One of my top artists at the moment, Paxton, she is one of those glitzy, glammy, you know. But at the moment, I look at her posts, the pictures from shoots that we've done, they're not getting the impact that the pictures of her sitting watching TV or and people are craving that. They're craving right now to relate.
Repackage,
revisit.
I'm quickly getting a charge because we're on 2%. So 1 sec. Sorry.
Grab the charger. No, Kim.
I think that's where it's cool for you guys coming off The Bachelor as well. Like your brand is around love. Your brand is around you found your person, and I just think that's so cool because especially where there is this hunger now for truth and honesty, and with the final was a few weeks ago. Hey.
Yes, 3 weeks ago it aired, but it was like 6 months ago.
But you're still finding each other and finding yourselves, which is amazing as well. You know?
And it's so cool that the public will now be able to see the real you guys, where The Bachelor was a representation of the glitz and glamorous side of you guys. And now the public will get that insight of, you know, what you guys are down to your core.
Yeah, so true.
Just made it.
Oh, good.
1%.
Yes, well done. Well done. You get a rose. I have to say that
You get a rose.
You get a rose. We'll get roses. Everyone gets a rose.
And I've noticed that with our social media that people they really do want just that realness. I'm looking terrible. You're not looking terrible. I'm looking terrible when we're doing like a instant live feed video. I'm terrible at technology, but I'm figuring it out. Live video, and everyone loves that more than it seems than the show, and they're commenting more and engaging more, and so
I'm wearing my orange pajama pants.
Great.
It's not for the Bratt.
Graham, I'm going to show you. I'm wearing my friend's sweatpants.
And I'm wearing my T-Rex.
Oh, I'm wearing snow boots. I'm wearing snow boots. That's how cold I am. This is great. Show and tell, guys. Show and tell. No, I have to say that I love this conversation, and what I found. Oh, your jump sock. Those things are brilliant. They're so warm, and they're so attractive. They're so attractive. I love them, Graham. # love them. I'll go matchy with you next time. No, I just wanted to say that we've every show that I've had, and I've been doing this for 2 months now, and I feel like I have to come up with I have to write a book along with Kim. I have to now write a book of just like these go-to hashtags that everybody's been saying that are so important for a person that just is wanting to become part of the industry, whether it be in PR, in front of the camera, behind the camera, a brand ambassador, an influencer, whatever it is. And there was actually something that Matthew O'Connell, who's known as Chucky's from Good Luck, he was a saxophonist with Good Luck, and he actually was on 2 weeks ago, and he said something that I think is so true: be nice. That's it. Be nice. And I think and actually Fame, even we spoke about it last week as well. Just be nice, be genuine, be who you are, so that you don't have to fake it. And even like you were saying, Kim, about being on The Bachelor, it's all about the glitz, it's all about the glam, it's about the stories and the drama behind it. But being honest and who you guys are is what actually drew you two together. And like you said, Mark, it's what's bringing people into your space. It's what people are falling in love with, being honest and being a power couple, being at home with your dogs. And actually, speaking of dogs, I mean, just how beautiful. Just how beautiful. And you guys recently adopted a new baby. I mean, just so flipping cute. Like, just I think it's so real and authentic, and I love what you guys are saying about that. If I just want, before I go, I need to show pictures of the rest of the dogs, because just so our viewers know, we've got more dogs. So here. So I'm gonna show my doggie. That's my baby. Sabrina Odette. I know, she takes after her mom, hey? She is Sabrina Odette May, and she's a rescue. And then we've got this beautiful creature, both of them. Oh man, how cute!
And our naughtiest dog on planet Earth.
Our oldest dog too.
I love it.
Extra large rodents, those Jack Russells. I love them.
I think this conversation has been so useful and so helpful, not just to me, because I'm just soaking in everything, but for everybody watching, and the young artists, the young entrepreneurs that are wanting to get into business. I mean, Graham, you started songwriter sessions with Marshall, and you've also released your new single, Sober. I mean, there's so much to talk to. I'm on Wednesday. Cool. I'll come through. Cool. I'll brush my hair and my teeth, and I'll come through and join you. No, I mean, there's
like don't think that you're going to get into this industry and just stay doing that. Chances are you'll probably end up doing something other than what you intended to do, because you have to. That's a natural evolution of our game. As our industry is so tightly knit, you find yourself becoming.
And I think the greater industry, the acting industry, the modeling industry, like it's the film industry in general, like there are so many hats.
So many.
Yes. Including cinematographer, Kim, because I believe that you were part of shooting Graham's music video for Sober.
That's one of my favorite moments.
No, but a beautiful song. I actually listen, guys. We are over time. Are you guys to hang on for like a whole 5 minutes more? Are you guys fine with that?
Yeah.
Great. I mean, like the conversations, I can't help it. But Graham, I actually wanted to ask you, when it comes to writing during COVID, how has it been for you? And actually writing for yourself now, not just for the band. What has that space been like for you?
It's a totally different journey, which actually started 2 years ago already. Where I kind of went into my studio one day and started writing and put it into a little file called Out of My System, which is a little purple file that I had on my desktop, and I kind of just got stuff out of my system and left it there. And one day I sent it to Kim and I said, let me know what you think. And she like listened to everything intently.
One day he provided me with 16 demos, and I was like, you didn't tell me you were writing and you've got 16 nearly finished demo. Like, how?
Yeah, but I think, taking Sober Now, the one that we just did, the finished product was we had just finished it just before lockdown kind of happened. But then sitting at home, kind of playing around on the piano, I realized, sure, it's actually really beautiful as a ballad. And most songs, they translate very differently as an acoustic ballad or a piano ballad, depending on how you position it. But all of a sudden, I took it from this major key to a minor key, which made it all sad and depro. But I thought it was really, really beautiful. So I recorded in the back of, I have my van here. And I just set up a recording studio in the back of my van because the acoustics were just right. And I recorded it there. And that's what you heard. It was
amazing.
And then we thought, let's do a little cool lockdown video. So I employed Kim and my mum, and they ran up and down my passageway.
Although his mum was shorter than me, and she was a lighting lady, so we had to put a light on the end of the golf.
Oh
no! A couple of times.
Yeah, but it was hell of a cute. And
I was like, I don't do this for any of my other clients.
And I think, like, I must be honest with you, that's probably the most honest music video I've ever shot. It was just, it cost me nothing but my time. And my wife's almost leaving me because I'm apparently quite a difficult perfectionist. But
and nearly getting concussed by your mother.
Nearly getting concussed. But I mean, apart from those small minor technicalities, it was actually really wonderful. And the support for it's been incredible. And I'm on a very new journey now. As a solo artist, it's very different and very new and very scary. But also, I'm excited for it because I'm allowed to do and say what I feel now without there being. I think being in a band is one thing. It's incredibly special. Yeah. It's 4 individuals coming together writing, and each person brings something special. But now I'm kind of taking a body of work to a producer and going, okay, give me a little bit of input here, a little bit of input there. And the band is still heavily involved. Yeah. They are actively involved. I'll send them things. They'll be like, yeah, this is great. Or no, Graham, that's absolute poo. Don't go there. That's great. As honest friends. Then they're more than that now. They're family. I mean, we've been together for, over 10 years now. So really great.
And then am I right in saying that there is an EP in the works?
There is an EP in the works, yes. It's just a matter of getting it out. Yeah. I wrote, I think, for my first album, which was incredible. There was a wonderful chemistry. The second album, there was a lot of pressure on us. We kind of wrote for the sake of writing. And I think a lot of young artists out there will experience that. Is you kind of, when you write for somebody, you write for public expectation, as opposed to the honesty of the first album, which is there's no expectation. There's just, I'm going to do a body of work and see what happens. So I think from my third album now, which is effectively, we're going to do it single by single until we have an EP. We're just making music that we love and we enjoy. And I'm making music that makes me feel feelings. And chances are there should be a handful of people out there that feel the same way. So I'm not applying any, if it doesn't work, it doesn't work. And if it works, it works. I really am just releasing it and giving it away in a sense, So
doing it, you boo.
But
I love that. Sure. No, I love that. And hashtag do you boo. I think that's amazing, just to put out exactly what's on your heart. Guys, listen, I'm really sad to say this, but we have come to the end of our time, and I'm really sad because there is still so much that I still want to draw out of all of you. And I think we might have to have you all back. Nudge, nudge, wink, wink. So, I mean, just gonna slam those DMs quickly. I'd like you back. Thank you so much for spilling the tea on the Bachelor and was like with idols and working with artists. This has been fun. We've got a comment here that this Jessica said sipping tea in bed and binge watching. Thanks for taking the time to. I think she's finding this interesting. Thank you so much. I really do appreciate everybody commenting. And if anybody out there has any more questions for any one of these guys, any one of them, follow them on hashtag Instagram or Facebook. I'm pretty sure they're all open to you sliding into his DMs. And if you've got any questions for anybody, if you don't, if you want to follow me, Alexandra May Music, and I will hook you up with the right person. Drop me an email. I will send you, we'll connect all the dots, so for sure. But as we're ending off, I think we should end off with this little hashtag pearls of wisdom, if you guys are okay with that. If we could just go around the room, if you have something for maybe somebody who's starting in the industry or in the entertainment or being yourself, if you've got that little pearl of wisdom, something that you've picked up along the way, would you mind sharing that with our viewers? Kim, do you want to start?
Oh, can someone else start?
Spotlight.
I'll start. It's a quote that I live my life by, and it says, "A masterpiece is a stroke of genius in a moment of madness. So live your life in that way."
Oh, I like that. Oh, I
How
like
would
that.
you top that now?
Wow.
I mean, really.
End the show.
Sure, babe. You can't. That's it. Well, good night, guys. No, that is so true. That's going in the book of quotes. That's going in my book of quotes. But I'll say Graham Watkins quoting somebody else. Here's the hashtag, and then we'll put the quote in there. That's wonderful. Thank you so much for Graham for being on the show and just spreading your knowledge and your love with everyone in the room and our viewers. It's been awesome to see you again. I can't wait to see you on Wednesday, mate. Kim, would you? Oh, sure, but this way. There we go. Yeah, random elbow nod. Kim, would you like to go next with our pearls of wisdom?
My pearls of wisdom is just, I think, stay true to yourself, be honest, and work hard. I think that's my advice.
Nailed.
That's the theme of this, I think. Asanda, do you have anything to add?
Listen and be part of the conversation.
Yes.
Simple as that.
Listen and be part of the conversation. I think that's true. So many people they listen to answer and they don't listen to understand. And I think that's very true. I think it's very, very true.
Especially now during COVID time, during Black Lives Matter, during the GBV and all of that, you need to listen to the conversations that are taking place and be part of those conversations.
Yes, I totally, and being open to criticism and suggestions, and being
even the painful ones. I think the painful conversations are ones that you should. I think you need to be the most aware of those and the most involved in those, because those are the ones that matter.
Yeah,
I totally agree. And I think actually, Asanda, we should actually have you back and have a sort of bit of focus on what's happening in the world right now. I think focus in on that a bit more. I think it'd be a really, really valid and important conversation to have, especially on this platform, since we have it. So you and me, we're going to be WhatsApping and we're gonna organize this.
Let me know when.
Amazing. Thank you. I really do appreciate you being on the show. You've got so much knowledge and love that I love spending time with you and talking with you. And I miss seeing you in person and laughing over champagne. So this has been great. But soon we'll do the real thing in real life. Hopefully. Mark and Maricia, you guys have been so fantastic, and I've loved hearing about your journeys and what you guys have gone through to get to where you are now, and your mindset behind everything. Mark and Maricia, do you guys have any pearls of wisdom that you'd like to share with our viewers?
I think just to summarize, I mean, we've brought all of it up. Just stay true to yourself, learn from people, and grow and evolve, because things are ever changing. And sometimes they'll happen faster than you think, like now, COVID. So make sure that you're, learning from everyone around you.
Yeah, very true.
Don't step on too many toes either. Burn some bridges.
Ooh, that's true. Very true. Maricia.
No, I agree with him. Completely agree with everything.
I love that. I love it.
She's like, whatever everyone said, just done.
Tomorrow morning, 3 a.m. I'm up, so usually by 8 I'm out.
Oh, I love this. You guys, all of you have been so fantastic. Thank you so much for spending your Sunday evening with me and with our viewers watching here tonight. I've learned a ton. I'm sure everybody else has learned a ton. And gosh, I love you all. And wow, I can't wait to see you all in person. So thank you, guys.
Thank you for having us.
Thank you.
Yes.
Bye.
You're so welcome. You're so welcome. I'm going to throw you guys backstage. I'll chat to you guys in a whole minute. Bye, everybody. Oh, wow. What an awesome show. What an awesome music room. I hope you guys have had a great time. I've had a fabulous time. These people are incredible. They're full of knowledge. They're full of so many important things for us to learn from. And I think if you guys have any further questions for them, drop me a DM and I will put y'all in touch. Alexandra May Music, I'll put everybody in touch. I promise. But for now, stay safe, sanitize, and call your loved ones, everybody. Call your loved ones. I will see you same time, same place next week. Bye!
I ain't no typical girl. I ain't no typical girl. I ain't no typical.